Do it.
Hey, like a furry torpedo to the jugular. This is Honey Badger Radio, radio with bite. Welcome to Nerdrevolt number 56. Ass of the Covenant. Ass of the Covenant. Ass of the Covenant.
Oh my God, I can't believe it. Like, Kate, I just realized that you are here, and I'm so sorry that you've had to go through all of this.
No, she liked it. I could tell by her kitty. Her kitty looks comfy.
Did she? Was she?
Make of that what you will.
Was she able to speak? Like, did she talk?
I think she was talking earlier. She was laughing at and stuff. Kate, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, there she is.
Okay, good. You're a little bit muffled though, so maybe turn up the volume.
Okay, is that any better?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, that's good. All right, I was a little bit worried because we were going places, so I don't know.
No, we were trying to be. We don't want to be low energy. Low energy, Jeb. We want to do better. So I didn't ask my mom for permission to do this fucking stream. All right, so I am your host, Brian, and I am joined by Allison, Hannah, Scott, and Max. I'm just going to go through. You guys know them. If you don't know them, then watch a bunch of old streams, and then you'll know us. So.
Who are you people? I don't know you.
Shut up! Get the
Why does he have yellow skin?
Woo! All right, everybody, let's do this. Woo! High energy.
Maybe we should introduce them to Kate because they probably.
Yes, I am indeed saving the best for last, or at least the most current. Kate, welcome. Kate is one of the Sad Puppies, and you know that they are an evil organization within a larger organization known as the capitalist white male het cis patriarchy. And this is just one of the divisions of it. So, Kate, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Okay, what?
You sound like a woman, but ignore that.
Yes, I know. It's one of those strange things. I have so many evil identities that I lose track of which one I'm supposed to be.
You are the white supremacist one. I think. I don't know. You have a plan, though. I understand that you're here not just to loom and reach out with your cold and slimy tentacles into our brains to feed us bad ideas, but also because you have something planned, far-reaching. Your hands are in many people's porridges, right? Is that the case?
Something like that. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I managed to set the science fiction internet on fire last weekend. No, the weekend before last, by doing exactly what I said I would do, which was tallying up all of the recommendations people had been making for months on the Sad Puppies 4 site and reporting the count in all of the Hugo categories, and somehow this made me the most appalling person in the world. I had people wanting to be taken off the list and people who didn't understand that anybody could have put anything forward if they really wanted to, and yet somehow it's all my fault.
You get used to that. I mean, Sad Puppies hasn't quite got to the Gamergate level. I mean, I think recently they talked about how, not recently, but a few months ago they talked about how Gamergate will ruin the colonization of Mars.
Wow.
And may have also been responsible for stuff that happened in the 90s.
Yeah,
You guys are just
Well, of
really
course.
influential.
Yes,
Yeah,
the
we-
Gamergate time machine is it's a very effective tool that not a lot of people are aware of.
Well, and not only that, but Gamergate is taking over. Like, we are going to be, when we colonize space, when Gamergaters colonize space,
That's
we're going to
it.
be planting the flag on everything.
Gators in space.
You just got to realize that, colonization is only okay when social justice ideologues do it.
Yeah,
But,
Gamergaters
Kate,
aren't allowed to.
Yeah.
we
Screw all
know
you
that.
guys. I'm going to
know that-
colonize Uranus.
Oh my fucking god.
Hold on.
Oh,
Can
Kate,
you
we
hear
know
this?
that, we
guys,
know that you're
anyways.
really just an agent of the puppyarchy.
Can you guys hear this? Hold on, make sure you can hear this.
Yes, we can hear you.
That's me face palming Max right now.
Oh God.
Sorry, ladies and
But you know, I think we need to.
Me and Hannah
Alright.
are in a constant war over who can make the
Brian,
worst
help me
puns.
out here.
All right, I am, and this is me reeling it in.
Yeah, because I think we need to establish,
Yeah.
have Kate just explain who she is and what Sad Puppies is again, because people don't necessarily. It's been months between the last time we talked about this. So, Kate, why don't you give us a bit of a background on yourself, what you do, what your connection is to science fiction? Just
Okay.
for every.
Yeah, Kate, who is your daddy and what does he do?
I am, science fiction-wise, I am an extremely minor author with a few pieces on Amazon. I'm also friends with a number of much more influential people. And I followed the original Sad Puppies that Larry Correa did. And I followed and watched Brad Torgerson take a ridiculous amount of heat for his iteration of it. And then I went completely insane and volunteered to take over for the year. And I thought, well, okay, they keep making all these noises about how, if we only did this and if we only did that and if we only made it, more representative and opened it up and it wasn't just this black hole that this horrible evil slate thing came out of, everything would be just fine.
Oh no! Just to
So
slide in there before we go any further, just to explain what Sad Puppies is. There's been allegations, and not just from Sad Puppies. I've heard it from other people completely unaffiliated years and years and years ago that the Hugos are basically a stack deck, and the stack is done by cliques. The Hugo Awards are supposedly the popular science fiction awards, so it's the science fiction. Written science fiction and fantasy for the year, and it's essentially the popular choice awards for the year, and it's hosted at the Worldcon, and you have a nomination process. People put forward their nominations, and then they're voted on at the Worldcon by the members of the Worldcon. What the Sad Puppies has done is, in response to the allegations that these awards are basically decided by cliques with how shall we say, virtue signaling social justice warrior cliques. The Sad Puppies have, in the last two iterations, put together a list of works that have been nominated by people to the Sad Puppies, essentially. So it's an effort to actually get those authors and writers that they felt were being overlooked by the cliques, to get them an opportunity to actually be part of the Hugos. And it's since Sad Puppies 3, where I believe that Brad took nominations and then just put everything into.
Be a little jackass.
Sorry,
Oh,
that's my husband talking to the cat.
oh God, I figured as much.
Put that cookie down!
Okay, so Sad Puppies 3 was essentially Brad taking nominations from wherever and collating them into a document that ranked them by how many of these works were nominated. In response, when that nomination, when that document, when the people who were nominated on the Sad Puppies nominations list, can I say it that? I know you want to get away from Slate.
Well,
nominations list. Okay, go ahead.
People on the list, some of them got a lot of flack just because they were liked by the wrong people. And Brad was accused of marrying his wife who is black in order to shield himself from accusations of sexism and racism. Things got rather heated, particularly when the recommendations on Brad's list and on the not particularly related Rabid Puppies one swept the nominations in a number of categories, and rather than allow that to happen, rather than allow a nomination from from the wrong people to actually get an award. We saw a fiasco where the number of no awards were doubled. 5 categories were simply no awarded into oblivion. So in order to prevent the patriarchy, anti-social justice, white male bigots of the puppies, unquote, from getting anywhere, the establishment crowd managed to organise to deny awards to female editors, female authors, simply because they were liked by the wrong people.
And in response to that no awarding, and yeah, there was one particularly egregious case where a female editor was no awarded by the Hugo cliques because, oh my God, they don't want a male, they don't want the, I guess the award to be dominated by men or something, some shit, whatever. And it pretty much proved that what they really don't want is for nominations that they don't approve of to get through. So they want to control who wins this award.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So after that, I started looking closely at the numbers. And, you know, if you've got a solid block of about 50 votes, you can pretty much buy yourself any of the minor categories. If you can guarantee 50 votes in any direction, you can pretty much buy one of the lesser categories. And it happens year after year. This isn't actually anything against the people who run the Hugo Award itself. They just count the votes. The problems come in a number of what you might call the old boys club of the World Con, or the secret masters of fandom from the World Con, who particularly, they've all gone to the same cons for years on end, and quite a few of them have built up the idea that it's more important for them to get what they want and to win than for fandom in general to flourish. And these are the people who were busy telling everybody that, oh no, that you couldn't possibly vote for anything that had any kind of puppy taint to it. You must no award. So, in the best editor category particularly, that was really horrific. The lead in that category outside of the no awards was Toni Weisskopf, and she got more votes than have ever been cast in that category before. But the no award clique knocked her out of it.
So just to clarify, the clique that says it represents women and minorities knocked a woman who had basically done what no man had done in the history of the Hugos, had gotten the most votes for best editor. They knocked her.
Yes.
Yeah, the most votes ever. They knocked her out of the running because they are the ones who champion women and minorities.
Yeah.
This is not about championing women and minorities. It's about using them as a cudgel to maintain your moral supremacy and your right to dictate what happens during at this award ceremony. That's what it sounds like to me.
Ownership. It's about ownership. It's just like that one social justice warrior on Reddit said, and then they all say, oh, this person isn't a real social justice warrior. Bullshit. It's exactly the attitude they have. We own you. You owe us. If you don't do everything through us, we will crush you. And that's what we saw here.
Yeah, I'd have said it's about power, but yeah.
Okay, so what happened? And I'll just summarize. In response to this no awarding and all of the criticisms of Sad Puppies 3, that I guess there was the question of transparency, although I think it's probably not. Essentially, Brad took all the responses, collated it himself, and made an Excel spreadsheet out of it.
Yeah.
In this particular, the Sad Puppies 4, what they did is they called out for nominations in each of the categories, and they allowed anybody to go to the website, anybody to put a comment and nominate anything in those categories. And then Kate took the horrendous and horrible step of taking all of those comments, adding up the nominations and who was nominated, and listing them. And this is completely transparent. Anyone can go to that website, see who commented, who was nominated, how many nominations they got, but she took the step of just collating it all and putting it into a list. And now for that horrible crime, Kate is Satan, I think.
Pretty much, yes. Yes.
And yet all of this is transparent. You guys can go to this. Actually, what is the website?
The website is www.sadpuppies4.org.
Okay, so you can
right.
see the entire process, and in fact, Kate has invited people to look through all of the comments and the nominations and tally it up themselves to see if there's any mistakes.
And yeah, there probably are, because I had the cat jumping on the keyboard all the time, and my screen would just scroll madly while she jumped, and then I had to find my way back.
Yeah, cats. They get
Yes.
into everything. But what are the kinds of things what's the kind of pushback that you've gotten from essentially opening up a completely free forum where anybody can nominate, any member of the public can nominate anything that they want in the categories? What kind of pushback have you gotten for this horrendous act?
Quite a few people didn't believe that I was actually going to do this, and that I was going to do what I said and list them all, counted and collated as best I possibly could. So I think they went into shock when I published it, and it's pretty much matches up with what other people have done when they've gone through the comments and made their own counts. So they've all thrown this, there's been this collective fit thrown about how I'm the ultimate in evil, and I've had several people ask to be taken off it. I'm not taking people off that list, because a lot of people went to the effort of saying, hey, I really like this person, I really like this work, I think it's one of the best things published this year, and I want it to get an award. So rather than take anybody off the list or disqualify anybody, I'm just flagging those people and those works with an asterisk. And people who remember last year's Hugo Awards will find the irony rather interesting there.
I was just going to say, that is so appropriate. Perhaps you should
Yes,
have a
yes.
mute button. Sorry,
Yeah,
my mute button
I
just went like ballistic.
I think Hannah said you should explain the asterisk.
Yeah,
Okay,
perhaps you should explain that to the people that weren't here last year.
At last year's Hugo Awards, they went through this great big foo-furore about how it was all so exceptional, rah-de-rah-de-rah, as an excuse, and this was done not by the Hugo Committee, it was done by a small portion of, it was done by a number of individuals at that Worldcon and approved by the people on the Worldcon committee who were organising the entertainment. It's kind of important to make that distinction, because not everybody knew what was happening and appreciated it, and quite a few people were appalled, because they gave all of the nominees, particularly the puppy-related ones, big wooden asterisks, which, when you put them beside the rather suggestively shaped Hugo, become even more suggestive. They don't just imply that this wasn't a valid nomination. They also look rather like somebody has bent over without their underwear.
Ho-ho!
Oh, shots fired.
Beside the decidedly phallic Hugo Award, I'm actually surprised I haven't seen any photoshops that make that connection. I've probably just guaranteed a whole lot of them.
Yeah, I think you just did. I think you just invited Photoshoppers. Attention, all Photoshoppers.
Yes.
Yes.
Shit posters of the internet, unite!
Assemble the old fags.
I know that you got a bit of pushback from not taking the names off the list, just putting the asterisks in front of them. I can see sort of both sides of that issue. But I do recognize that. I mean, if people did take the effort to find their work, read it, and nominate it, there is sort of like, I mean, there is an issue that people, you may not like the people who like you, but they like you.
Yeah.
I guess that's the funny thing is that it doesn't. I mean, people who nominate aren't necessarily one of us horrible, evil,
Yeah.
tainted people.
They
They may
were
have just
people-
gone to the site and wanted to see your name on the list. So I can understand your point of view. I can also understand the point of view that some people just don't want to take part in the process.
I can also understand that some of them would be absolutely terrified of the whole guilt by association, you'll never work in this town again effect. So marking that yes, they in fact asked to be removed is actually a reasonable compromise there.
Yeah, and that to me that is just unbelievable. I mean, what point do the cliques and the people involved in this start stopping themselves and thinking, hey, wait a second, we're going a bit far here. I mean, we're going to permanently black mark anyone who's even nominated by people that we disagree with. Like that's that seems to be even. Yeah, I understand if you want to kick out shitlords like me, the peddlers of misogyny and racism, people who, Brian, by the way, somebody on YouTube recently said that we were responsible for getting minorities harassed out of Calgary Expo.
Oh, is that so? We were responsible for minorities getting kicked out of Calgary Expo?
Yeah, like, no offense, Brian, but I think that you had all of the melatonin in the entire convention.
That's actually I think that's actually an apt statement. I looked around and I saw no shadows darker than my own. So
They literally, by kicking you out, aside from people who were working the convention security, I think that there was, when they kicked you out, Brian, they kicked out almost all, like
pretty much, yeah. I mean,
all of the minorities there.
I think that might be, yeah.
And we're being accused of being the ones who are harassing more minorities out of the conventions. It's
Logic is a tool of the patriarchy.
Apparently, also, racism is not a racism, but like racial. You know what? I can't even conclude that particular one. I mean, because they will say that racism is a tool of patriarchy, but what's interesting is that of all, like, I've never kicked a minority out of a convention or a woman, but they have. And I guess saying that that's sort of racist is a tool of patriarchy because it's a tool that's being used against them, or the people who want to control these spaces.
Anything that makes them look bad is a tool of the patriarchy and therefore evil. It's only good if they're doing it.
Oh, I think I understand the logic now, Brian. You were kicked out by MRAs because, we have brainwashed you. And me, too. I'm also brainwashed, and I brainwashed you.
Well, yeah, since these people see everybody as parts of a larger collective whole, they have assumed that because I am of darker skin, then I must belong to a separate race. And I'm not actually just a combination of, African, white, and native, which is what Puerto Ricans are, with a little bit of pirate sprinkled in there. I must be an other race, and therefore part of a protected group. And what you guys did, because I don't have any agency of my own, was you put me in a position where I was going to be shit on because I'm associated with evil MRAs who are the real racists, despite the fact that these people are the ones that are seeing me as part of a larger collective and not as an individual.
I think I can get it even simpler. because we intentionally, or this is what is alleged, we intentionally, we ran around harassing women and minorities. Oh my God, sorry. Brian, you're gonna have to talk while this.
All right, yeah, go. I guess there's that. So they're doing some welding because they're Allison's building cages for her minority slaves that she keeps because that's what MRAs do. So it's gonna take her a little bit of time to get that done. Although I understand that she's working very quickly. And interestingly enough, she asked me to come up and visit. So I don't know what that's all about, but I'm gonna piece of candy. So. Allison, did you wait? I guess Kate.
Yes. Sorry, the industrial process is still occurring.
No, it's okay. What should we move on to the next story, or are we still talking about this one?
Do you have anything left to say, Kate? I apologize for the incredibly loud, horrendous sound in the background. I don't know why the compressor is taking forever to turn off.
That is pretty much all I've really got to say. I mean, everything I've done, everything I've said is out there in the open for people to see. It's not like I'm hiding anything.
Yeah, well, you know what? That they don't like the fact that you're not hiding anything.
No, they don't
you
know
are
what
hiding
to do with it.
Yeah, they don't know what to do with it.
The only other thing is that if you actually do have membership for the Worldcon and you haven't put your nominations in yet, you have today, tomorrow, and the next day to get them in. Great.
So go do that if you're a science fiction fan and you like what's been put up as an item for potential. Like Allison Lives industrial music as an item.
I was just gonna say, if you're done listening to your Tool album, we can move on to the.
I was gonna say, if you like any of the items on Kate's, I'm not gonna say slate, I'm gonna say list. Consider nominating them. Again, what's the website?
www.sadpuppies4.org.
Okay, there you go. Go there and nominate.
Hey, Kate, can you type that out for me, and I'll drop it into the good old-fashioned low bar.
Yeah, the low bar where all the bars that are low go. I just wanted to say the reason why they're going to say that we kicked you out, we were responsible for a minority getting kicked out of a convention, is literally that, because they think that what we did was so heinous that we deserve to get kicked out of the convention, so we are responsible for you having been kicked out of the convention with us, Brian.
Yeah, it was like you brought a Chihuahua with you, and you didn't know that Chihuahuas are not allowed, so when you got thrown out and the Chihuahua had to go with, it was like, well, you forced our hand. We had to throw the Chihuahua out, too.
We're not responsible for any Chihuahua discrimination. Even though, literally, the Calgary Expo kicked out probably, I think, and I'm being conservative when I make this estimate, at least 50% of the minorities at the Calgary Expo got kicked out because of the Calgary Expo. And probably about at least 50% of the actual female comics artists.
Well, they still can't get straight on why we got kicked out. I mean, if they say we got kicked out for harassment, then we prove that we didn't harass. So then they say we got kicked out for being gamergaters in public. Then we say that's discrimination. Oh, well, it was because you were really MRAs disguised as nerds, and we prove that. They go right back to the harass. Well, you were harassing people. So it's like this circular. Well, if we
don't forget the email.
Oh, yeah.
There was an email?
No, I think it was like the wrong email or something like that.
The confusion over the identity that they didn't. They were unaware that the identity that they printed on everything was the identity of the group that was going to be there.
Yes, we stealthily disguised ourselves. No, Kate, this is what has been alleged. We went undercover. We were Honey Badger Brigade, and we went undercover under
as
the
yourselves.
Name Honey Badger Brigade.
I went along as the red herring because if I was there's no way that it just makes it look more legit.
Yeah.
This is one of these things I've noticed. goalposts that shift so fast. If they moved any faster, they'd go relativistic.
Mhm. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And it's funny, and well, no, it's not funny. It's sort of sad, but it's also funny.
Yeah, you gotta laugh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the greatest sporting event in the Victim Olympics is the social justice goalpost relay race.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming on, Kate. I know that you were saying that you had to get going.
Yeah.
You're welcome to stay and talk about the other topics, or if you have to go.
I do need to go, but thank you for having me on.
Yes, and
Well,
it's good
thank you for joining us.
to follow up on where the sad puppies are at and what needs to be done. Well, not needs to be done, but what is being done and how transparent and innocuous it actually is at the end of the day.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. All right, what's the
All
next item?
Let's go on to the Game of Thrones one because Max is here on borrowed time. So we'll do that one first because he is the genius that wrote it up. Plus, I never watched the show. Well, that's not true. I watched season 1. I fucking did not like it. So I know we can probably get into it about Game of Thrones. I just was bored as shit. But I know it's popular. I get it. I'm an outsider here. Anyway. So I don't watch it, but yeah, you guys could probably do the Game of Thrones thing. So go ahead, Max. I'm giving you the floor, and I'm going to shut up now. I'm going to my corner.
Translation: Brian watched all the sex scenes on xvideos.com. But anyways, in a show where men are unexpectedly killed, tortured in the most depraved ways, castrated, burned at the stake, and decapitated. Sorry, spoilers, I guess. There's war. It is only when rape is used as a narrative device for a woman that there is something to be offended about. Now, this is a sentiment that has been expressed about the popular HBO drama Game of Thrones by websites that the Badgers are very fond of, like the Mary Sue. Anyways.
Love them! Love them! Awesome people! Great bunch of guys and gals.
However, in a refreshing display of sanity, actress Emilia Clarke, I believe is the current sexiest woman alive, dubbed by People magazine, who stars as Daenerys Targaryen, aka Khaleesi, in the series, responded to those criticizing the show for being sexist. Now, she said the following. I'll quote this directly from this article that I got it from. There are women depicted as sexual tools, women who have zero rights, women who are queens but only to a man, and then there are women who are literally unstoppable and as powerful as you can possibly imagine. So it pains me to hear people taking Thrones out of context with an anti-feminist spin, because you can't do that about this show. It shows the range that happens to women, ultimately shows women are not only equal but have a lot of strength. Now, I implore everybody that has seen Game of Thrones to help me dive into the backstory of these criticisms and the merit of Miss Clarke's statement. So, who here watches Game of Thrones? I only just started watching it this past summer. I could barely remember much of it because I just sped through it. But does anybody just sort of want to
Oh yeah,
sort of just get there? Yeah.
I love it. It's good.
It is good.
It's very good. It's actually it's a pretty damn fine piece of television. Actually, it's like I don't really watch TV anymore. But I would say if I was going to tell anybody that if I was going to suggest a show, I'd be like, you should definitely watch this because it's a very well written, well performed. The production value on it is very good. I highly recommend it.
Nah, I just saw season 1. I got sick of the whole people talking about like it's almost like post awesome. That's what I called it. Like everything that was awesome had already happened, and they were just sort of in between awesome things. And I don't know. I mean, I get that I'm in the minority here, so I'm not gonna try and convince anybody. But I was bored, and then I fell way behind, and I didn't. But I did see a lot of orgies and sex scenes and stuff. It seemed like HBO was totally cool with that.
See, I told you guys.
Right. Well, to be fair, Brian, it is a slow burn. It's definitely a slow burn. But it's got peaks here and there. But it is definitely a build. So yeah, probably season 1. Just watching that is just not enough. Like you probably have to binge through at least season 3, I would say. So.
Yeah, the season 2 and season 3 are probably the best ones. I think the majority of people would agree. Anyways. Just to sort of get into the backstory of why people are criticizing Game of Thrones for being sexist, you sort of have to go into bit of spoiler territory for Game of Thrones. So for any of those of you who are planning on watching Game of Thrones later on and don't want to be spoiled, I highly recommend you just take off your headset for the next 2 minutes or something if you don't want to key story points spoiled from Season 5. So, Scott, Sansa Stark, in Season 5, was forcibly married to the resident village sadist, Ramsay Bolton, also known as the castrator. For those of you who don't watch the show, you'll know what I mean when you watch it. What was inevitably going to happen between the two was the act of rape, if you understand the character of Ramsay. And what inevitably happened was the inevitable onslaught of people who don't understand how the horrible act of rape can be used as an effective narrative device. Now, before Amelia made her statement, I believe it was yesterday or the day before, Game of Thrones writer Brian Cogman defended that scene between Sansa and Ramsay. And he said the following, I'll quote it for you guys. He said, "When we decided we were going to do that, we were faced with the question, if she's marrying Ramsay, what would happen on her wedding night? And we made the decision to not shy away from what would realistically happen on that wedding night with these two characters and the reality of the situation, the reality of this particular world." You know, doesn't that make sense? Like, especially, like, people who, like, the first word that I think a lot of people would use to describe Game of Thrones is that it's absolutely brutal. It's some of the most brutal.
It's unapologetically brutal.
Yeah, like, do you sort of want to cite a couple of examples from the show just for people that aren't familiar?
Oh, melting golden crown.
Oh, yeah, the golden crown. When what's his nuts taken off.
Greyjoy.
Greyjoy. Thank you. I knew it was Grace. I don't think I could remember. There's all manner of brutality when Jaime gets his hand cut off. When the mountain kills.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I mean, there's just, and the thing is, though, it's like it's pretty well distributed across, male and female characters too. There's all manner of horrific things that happen to the people in this series. So it's oof, you're never left wanting for brutality in the show. That's for sure.
Hold on. I got a question though.
Sure.
There was a guy I know about it because it was talked about in like articles and shit like that. There was a guy on there that was castrated in some really brutal,
Greyjoy,
medieval way, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was really messed up, of course. But let's say that. Do you think that they would have done that to a female character? Like, do you think it's brutal enough that you could envision them going that far? Where they would do that to a woman if they were trying to torture one? Would they some kind of clitoral mutilation or?
They got 4 seasons left.
Like a bladed egg beater and just stick it in there and just turn
maybe not that. Maybe not that, but there has been all manner of other brutality, like when the kid that killed the prostitute, like he held her up and shot her with a crossbow, like strung her up from the fucking ceiling or from the bedpost or whatever it was. Then shot her with crossbows. There's brutality has been pretty evenly handed out. I don't know about female genital mutilation or anything like that. I don't know if they would really broach that subject, but there's been all manner of other things that have happened though, for sure.
Yeah, and the thing is, what's great about it, unlike a lot of movies and TV shows that use this brutality just for shock value, where it's, the coined term torture porn, all the brutality that these characters experience really do contribute well to the narrative. Unfortunately, like as we all know, if you follow the lead of the galactically stupid, like the aforementioned Mary Sue, you'll swear off watching the show and never writing about it again if you dare use the act of rape in a narrative context, right? And that's exactly what happens, because the character of Sansa Stark was raped. And it's only past all these different examples of this absolutely horrendous human behavior in the form of castration, decapitation. We go past all that. But then when one woman is raped, that's when everybody just says, no, I can't do this anymore. Game of Thrones has a sexism problem. Even though it probably has some of the most respect for just females in general, showing, like what Emilia Clarke said, just showing a wide arrangement of women experiencing different tribulations from different classes and backgrounds, all the great triumphs that they can have, all the great tragedies that they can have. And you're hard-pressed to find any form of fiction that does it as well as they do. And it really goes to show that you really can't please these types of people no matter what unless you try to do everything to the letter, to their satisfaction. And even when they do that, you end up pleasing nobody, right? And that's exactly what's happening here. And I applaud Amelia and the writer for standing up for what they did, and they both sound very genuine about it.
Well, you know, another thing too about this is, and this is a great example, is that these people want to talk about, you know, and just to tie it into gaming, it's like these people talk. They want to say that they want these stories. They want more grown-up stories. They want gaming to evolve. And this is the same kind of the people that are talking in this instance. They're like, they say that they want these complicated, these interesting stories, these dynamic characters. But when you give it to them, they recoil. They're like, oh wait, no, not that kind of character. We meant like this. But it's like when you do that, you remove any real adversity. You remove any kind of semblance of reality that kind of grounds this series. Because, I mean, you know, obviously we're talking about it's fiction, but this could very well be fiction taken from medieval times. You know, so there is a, within the violence and the characterizations and the dynamics, like the social dynamics of patriarchies or whatever, you know, fucking all this stuff. There's a realistic thread inside of here, but it's like when you start talking about like the people, they like I said, they kind of recoil when they actually see these things. It's like, and if you don't have that, the stories are just pointless. They're dull. They're boring. If there's no adversity there's nothing to watch. There's no interest there. But yeah, I think they portray strong women characters, weak women characters, strong male characters, weak male characters. It's like they go the whole gamut. It's not to say it's sexist or anything like this. I think is a gross miscategorizing of the stories. I don't think it sits. I don't think it hits the mark at all, really, because I think they really do cover pretty much everything in this series.
Well, when you consider that in the eyes of the people who are often making these criticisms, if they see a woman harmed or portrayed negatively in any context whatsoever, regardless of what they're trying to paint in the larger picture, like even if it's happening to, you know, everyone, or it's sort of like universal across the whole, or it just suits the tone of the story, right, or whatever it is they're doing, they cannot stomach the idea that a woman would be put through that if it's not sexist. And it's funny because ironically, in the opposite side, they also can't handle a woman being portrayed as having any sexual power either, because that's also sexist to them, and that's because they're really not doing anything new, and they're not really being progressive, and they're not really, you know, trying to break down or tear down any barriers or, you know, any standard like sort of preconceived conceptions of what you know, gender is to them. They're really just doing the same old thing. You know, they're being Puritans and Victorian in their approach, because they're like, well, we can't bear to see a woman harmed, and we also can't, you know, see their shoulders or their ankles. It's the same. They're just doing the same thing. And here's an excerpt that I want to point out, because there's another thing that I want to say about this. All right, here's an excerpt from the article. It reads, "While it's true that the arguments about sexism in Game of Thrones are often inaccurate or overwrought, it's also true that the show can be a little sexist sometimes, a conclusion I come to not because of the abuses faced by the show's female characters, but because of all the random brothel scenes depicting women fingering each other for no reason. Well, no reason besides the fact that it's not TV, it's HBO. Also, boners." Now, I want to point that out because they're going off the assumption that because it's HBO, they're just going to put skin in it, which HBO does have a reputation for doing, but I don't think it's coming from a place of sexism. I think it's coming from a place that when someone pays for a channel, and this is men or women, think of True Blood, which is really popular with women. True Blood was really popular with women, and there was a lot of nudity in it, and there was a lot of dudity in it too, which is dude nudity. That's what it is. And you know, but they love that. I mean, like, we can't pretend that women don't have sexual fantasies or sexual desires that they want to see played out in some way. They absolutely do, and they pay for it. Have you ever seen Spartacus? There's like so much dick in that show. It's not even funny. And that's all right. Like, you know, if that's what you're into, that's cool. So that's one thing, and the second thing is that they're saying also boners, which implies that this sort of stuff only exists for men, and that the fact that men might enjoy it, like we might see nude women, and it may make us happy, and we may even get wood, you know, from it, is a bad thing. This is sexist. Men are not supposed to enjoy women's sexuality. They're not supposed to enjoy what they see, even if that's the goal.
Naked men?
Well, yeah, and what if men are getting rods from other men? I mean,
because there are naked dudes in Game of Thrones too.
Yeah, and there's also, you know, gay couples in that show too. I remember in the first season.
Exactly.
It's funny, the senselessness, the complete lack of logic in the accusations of sexism and stuff like this. Because, like, what they've basically done is, oh, we're all for equality, we want equality, we demand equality, except for when men and women might get treated equally bad. And then all of a sudden, women should be exempt from that because they're not equal. You know, and the other aspect of that is they'll bitch and moan about lesbians not getting portrayed in popular media enough, that lesbian characters are not portrayed as normal and lesbianism is not portrayed as a normal thing. But then if the sexuality aspect of it is portrayed, all of a sudden it's only for men. And this will come from the same people that will taunt men in real life with, we're not doing this for you, we're not lesbian for you, we don't want you to. But as soon as it's portrayed on television, as soon as it's portrayed in a show that women do this, that it's a normal thing for women to do, oh my gosh, it's only for men to look at them. You know, it's bad that it's been portrayed, and it's discrimination against women, or it's sexism against women because they're portraying this thing that women do. And you can't have it both ways. Either they want it portrayed as normal and they want it accepted as a thing that women do, or they want to treat it like when it's portrayed, it's out of the ordinary, and how dare they actually show women doing that, and what's wrong with them, and it's obscene and sexist and blah, blah, blah. You know, have your equality or don't have your equality, and have your portrayal or don't have your portrayal, but don't sit around and complain when it's treated as a thing that women do after you've said, why isn't this treated on television as a thing that women do?
Hey, Hannah, you know what else isn't normal?
What else isn't normal?
Farting. Women don't fart either, as well as not liking sex. They don't do any of those things.
That's why we all go to the restroom in groups, so we can all go in there and let it all out and then come back and...
Yeah, actually, I understand that women's farts produce helium, and they actually use them to fill balloons. They fill the tanks, and they draw them right out of the female bathrooms, yeah.
I did not know that.
So that's why their voices are so much higher than men's.
Except,
yes. And if it gets higher as you talk to them, it means they need to fart.
Except obviously Hillary Clinton has not farted this entire campaign. That's why the way her voice keeps stretching lower and lower and the vocal fry when she talks. She's saving all that hot air for the campaign.
Uh-oh, the stream died.
No, get out. I'm still here. This happened once before.
On YouTube. Oh, wait, no, it's back. Sorry.
Okay. All right.
False alarm. Sorry.
Jesus.
All right. Being high on helium,
Scott. I know. So I'm short of my daily allowance of helium.
If you're having an issue, try refreshing. But the stream is good according to the chat. So.
Okay. Yeah, it came back. Yeah.
All right. Good. Yeah, but Hannah, were you done? I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was it.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah.
Oh, it's all right. So, anybody have any final thoughts on the Game of Thrones thing, or should we move on to the next one?
Just real quick.
Yeah.
Just, you know, it's like we really, when these kind of things come up, you really have to look at the people saying them. Because 9 times out of 10, they're going to be these sex-negative, puritanical, you know, morally righteous, high horse riding assholes. And just, God, I wish people could get to a point where it's like, hey, guess what? You know what? We're sexual creatures. That's just how it fucking is. You know, just things are what they are. Fucking quit crying about shit and just fucking enjoy some good storytelling for once. Ugh.
Yeah.
Good
Just,
God.
no, never mind. I agree. Max, do it.
Yeah, I find it very disheartening when you have a character like Brienne of Tarth in your series that is such a badass that is like to the point where it's almost feels like her badassery is feminist shoehorning. That they still call the show sexist, you know, because it's really true what Amelia says about there being such a diverse array of women and just sort of the struggles that they can go through, whether they be physical or political or mental. It just they continue to prove inadvertently, my opinion, that when it comes to gender equality, these types of women, they don't want gender equality, they want special privileges. And in this case, this is gender equality and what it's supposed to be, and they're these types of people they've demonstrated backlash against it because this is what it looks like, and they don't like what it looks like.
Yeah, well, I'll demonstrate that actually it is that, and it also applies to the sex-positive women, sex-positive feminists, because sex-positive feminism doesn't really celebrate sexuality in men. It only celebrates it in women, and men are still considered predatory and dangerous even to sex-positive women. So they're still trying to control male behavior, and it's just all bullshit. So, and as far as like capitulating, despite Brianna Tarth being the kind of character they would embrace, they would not be satisfied because they are never, ever, ever satisfied. And I will give you an example of that with the next story. So, which is about Blizzard and the game Overwatch. And you may know about this, but I'm going to read it to you, the little bit I wrote up anyway. So, when Overwatch closed beta launched recently, there was an update which included a bunch of additional skins, emotes, and poses for the colorful cast of characters. Among those is a pose called Over the Shoulder 25 for the speedster assassin known as Tracer, who was actually kind of the poster child of the game Overwatch. On the Blizzard forums, a Triggerkin SJW wrote this, and I quote, "What about this pose has anything to do with the character you're building in Tracer? It's not fun, it's not silly, it has nothing to do with being a fast elite killer. It just reduces Tracer to another bland female sex symbol. We aren't looking at a Widowmaker pose here. This isn't a character who is in part defined by flaunting her sexuality. This pose says to the player base, oh, we've got all these cool, diverse characters, but at any moment, we are willing to reduce them to sex symbols to help boost our investment game. I have a young daughter that every day when I wake up wants to watch the Recall trailer again. She knows who Tracer is, and as she grows up, she can grow up alongside these characters. What I'm asking is that you continue to add the Overwatch cast and investment elements. You double down on your commitment to create strong female characters. You've been doing a good job so far, but shipping with a Tracer pose like this undermines so much of the good that you've already done." End quote. Do you guys want to see the super offensive image? I'm not done reading my little bit, but let's look at how, because, I mean, this is obviously a serious offense according to what this woman said. So we need to see what this looks like, because this could be just, this could be some really important shit. Now, I recommend that you guys, if you have young children that are watching the show, you might want to cover their eyes or prepare yourself thusly, because this is going to be really, this is just some really serious shit we're about to see right now. So I want to prepare you mentally as well as physically for this. So here we go. All right, this is the Tracer pose that was much argued against. Holy shit. Okay, I got to stop. I can't handle this anymore.
Think of the children, Brian. Jesus,
oh my God!
Think of the children.
Think of the children.
Oh.
This is okay. I'm gonna stick it out because I got to get the story out, and it's really important. So, guys, I'm sorry that you're just gonna have to cope in the meantime. So, Blizzard. Well, it doesn't surprise me that you would cave to these moral arbiters. you have to realize that when they make demands on what you should change, no matter how fucking petty it is, they will never be satisfied. Never. You have now opened the floodgates, and it will not be closed until you stand up to this kind of behavior. Now we can add the, by the way, optional tracer pose to the growing list of times a loud minority and a silent majority have allowed a change to occur, along with Rainbow Mika's butt slap, Cammy's intro animation, the alternative Batgirl cover, the Spider-Woman cover, the Dead or Alive Extreme 3 game, which, by the way, had an extra butthurt review written about it recently, and Senran Kagura, amongst others. This is why I say you can never, ever satisfy these people. Ever. So I guess I'm going to give the floor to Scott because he put his name in there first.
Oh, man. Where do you start with this one? Seriously, where do you fucking start with this one? This is the same kind of bullshit that they've been fucking spitting for fucking years now. First off, let's talk about this in a very logical fashion. All right, when artists that are working on game assets work, they create these things called character turnarounds. They show the entire character from all different angles, so you can see the particular, the gear of the character, how they look in certain poses, this, that, and the other. So you can get a general idea of what the character is going to look like. These are things that, that are part of the creation process here, and this is part of it. This is part of a turnaround. This is to show the entire character from all angles, so you can see everything. So just on a very logical level, this shouldn't be an issue. That's all this is. This is an art asset. That's all it is. Otherwise, it's kind of like I just don't. And again, this is kind of harkening back to what we were saying earlier about the whole Game of Thrones thing. Is that the people saying this, I have to imagine that, because I'm not sure who the person was that said this, but I've seen some of the other comments, and these people just sound like these fucking sex-negative assholes that are trying to sexualize a character in a game. It's just like, it's a woman. Women have asses, men have asses. It's not a big fucking deal. But the thing that they're glossing over is that they don't feel okay about seeing her butt, but she's a fucking assassin. She kills people. Like, if you're gonna get fucking cry about something, why not get cry about that? But just besides all that, though, it's a fucking game. It's just a game. And from some of the things that I've seen written, I find it hard to believe that some of these people actually play games and actually give a fuck about this, other than just to be part of the outrage culture and have their little, get-togethers and say, oh, we hate this. Well, I hate this too. Well, then we should hang out and hate it together too, because we all hate things and we don't understand them, but we're gonna fucking hate them anyway. Just get the fuck over it. I just want these people to go away. I just want to play video games. I want to enjoy things. I want to enjoy good artwork. Like, the character designs in this game are great. And she has an ass. Oh my god, it's the end of the fucking world. Oh.
Well, I mean, does she though? I don't really.
Well, no, there's not much. I mean, she technically has an ass.
I mean, yeah, there's
there's
a line between her legs at the top.
It's not a booty. I mean, she ain't got a booty.
She doesn't have a booty though. No, she doesn't have a woody. Yeah, definitely an English woman. No, I'm kidding.
Well, no, she's British. The character is actually British. So.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's just this is just another example of much ado about nothing. This is just these Puritan, sex-negative fuckers who just want to infiltrate everything that they don't understand and just, oh no, we can't have this. We got to think about the children. We got to protect everybody from everything because we don't want somebody falling on something sharp and getting hurt. Don't run with scissors. Wear your helmet. Put on Band-Aids. Just whatever it is. They're endlessly going to be beating dead horses like this. This is just another example of people just wanting to be outraged about something, so they'll find anything to be outraged about. It's just, it's like fucking Anita Sarkeesian and her Batman cape thing hiding Batman's ass. I'm just like, oh Jesus, you're just so dumb. You're just making things up to bitch about now because you don't have anything else to do with your empty, sorrowful, sad sack fucking lives. Just go the fuck away. Go away. Let me play games. I'll play games.
Max.
And rant. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't understand. Okay, maybe this is just the autistic side of me speaking, and I'm not seeing the nuance here, but all I'm seeing here is her back is facing towards the camera, and she's just looking over her shoulder. And, like, obviously, yeah, her ass is there because she's wearing skin-tight leggings. But does this mean that we can't look at women from behind anymore? Like, I just don't get it.
You were never supposed to do that, apparently.
Well, see, that's
Plus,
the thing. Women are supposed to be able to flaunt every inch of their skin, but you're not allowed to look. And that's like the line of delineation there. Feminists want to claim, and social justice types in general, will freak out if you criticize a woman in the real world for wearing her clothes too tight or showing too much skin, being dressed inappropriately for a particular occasion, anything like that. But it's perfectly all right for them to have this puritanical attitude towards women in this situation. And I have a question, but I hope, but I don't know if I interrupted or not.
Max,
No, not at all.
Max,
I didn't know if you were done or if you had more to say.
No, I'll just get this one quick thing out of the way, just to sort of demonstrate the further ridiculousness of this. Brian, like before Scott and I talked, he listed a whole bunch of these different circumstances where these types of people have tried to go out of their way to censor their games, these games to be professionally outraged. I was surprised when this post got shared. Like, I'm a co-admin of the Social Justice Warriors Facebook meme page. We got about like 61,000 likes. I shared Marcus, or however the hell you pronounce the name of the guy who created Minecraft, Notch. He responded to the whole controversy, sort of siding with people like us, saying this is absolutely ridiculous. You don't have to create a balding fat guy just to make me feel included, something like that. And that post got like hundreds and hundreds of shares, thousands of likes, and like there were people in the comments just saying, why is this getting so much attention on social media? And like, why has this become an issue in the first place? It's just the fact that she's turned backwards and she's wearing tight leggings. And I think the reason why is just because it's so unnecessary and it's so petty that people are starting to sort of backlash in greater numbers every time something like this happens because we're sick of it.
Yeah.
That's all I had to say. Go ahead, Hannah.
Yeah, we are. We are definitely sick of it. Now, I'm not entirely familiar with this game, but I have the other thing I wanted to say about it. So this character is basically an assassin, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes,
and
sir.
so her,
Yes,
her
ma'am.
whole existence now, is she an assassin in an army in a war against bad guys, or is she kind of a just this rampant killer?
No, well, you choose a team of characters, so they're fighting one another. It's like a team versus team kind of thing. So it's not like a war scenario per se. But
she's not a hero. She's just a ruthless killer then, basically, right? But in a silly way, right?
Could be said.
Yeah. And this parent is treating this as a role model. She's upset, or it could be a male parent, but the parent is upset about the ruthless killer's pants. But not the fact that the daughter might be modeling herself after a ruthless killer.
Yep.
This is hashtag SJW logic.
Yeah. Basically.
That's all I had to say.
Just real quickly, there's one other thing I left out in my fucking breathless rant. In situations like this, I always defer to the artist. I always defend the artist, and I think it is always absolutely unequivocally a bad idea for artists to capitulate, even if those artists are a game studio. You can't give these people an inch. You cannot give them an inch because, as we've discussed many times before, they will always move the goalposts. They will always change the rules. They will always try and twist things around, even when you give them exactly what they want, to it being not enough. And I think part of the problem here is that this kind of sets a dangerous precedent within that dev community, within the game dev community at Blizzard, because frankly, if I worked for someplace that had the project lead capitulate to something like this, I would see that as a sign of weakness. I don't think that's good leadership, frankly, just plain and simple. I think that shows that if something as minor as this, something as such a minuscule, pointless detail as this is going to shake them, is going to rattle them to the point where they're going to start changing in-game assets and things of that nature, like we saw with Capcom and the butt slap. and things like this. It's just where's it going to end? I mean, literally, where is it going to end? Because there will be no end. Once you start stepping back, they're going to have you on your heels, and they're going to keep pushing. They're going to keep pushing more and more to see how far they can get their foot in that door before they kick the fucking door open. And this is just one of those kind of instances where it's just, to me, this is very dangerous because it erodes artist rights. It erodes speech rights because, I mean, you know, maybe it's a little bit of a leap talking about just this one character for some people, but to me, this gets into, you know, a speech rights issue because you're basically, these people are trying to silence somebody's art. They're trying to silence their voice, their ability to do the thing that they want to do, and it's just it's dangerous. It's just very, very dangerous because this is the frog boiling in the pot kind of thing. It's like you don't just throw it into the pot when the water is already boiling. You just ramp it up a little bit at a time, a little bit here, a little bit there, and you make inroads to the point where fucking nobody has a voice anymore.
It's just very slow boil there. Just very briefly here. These people can't help it. They've completely lost their minds. They are suffering from traumatic posterior sighting disorder.
Seriously. I mean, if anything, I would boycott this to make her ass bigger. I mean,
well,
you know,
it's funny that you should mention that. There was a couple of things I wanted to add on. First off, I didn't clarify that the Blizzard opted to remove the pose from the game due to that one statement, along with a few other people who agreed with it. But the overwhelming majority of people in that forum post or in that thread conversation were like, it's okay, or these people are, you know, they were saying don't do it because these people are being overly sensitive and there's really nothing here that is wrong. There's another character named Widowmaker who is way curvier, and she's in the same pose, and she's showing more, I mean, in many ways. And no one has a problem with it. So it's not that. That's the first thing. But then Blizzard caved, and this is what the representative wrote. Quote, "We'll replace the pose. We want everyone to feel strong and heroic in our community. The last thing we want to do is make someone feel uncomfortable, underappreciated, or misrepresented. Apologies, and we'll continue to try to do better," end quote. So they apologize. I understand that there is a bit of PR in there where you're like, oh, we don't want to ruin our reputation. Maybe they've seen other companies get pressured and like, you know, they want to avoid the whole thing altogether. But I still strongly recommend against it. I think that you'll actually probably do better in the long run if you don't cave into these people's demands, because they are stupid demands, and you know, and you want to listen to your community. Sometimes you just got to go with the majority. If the majority says, you know, leave it, we like it, it's fine. And then there's just one or two people that are like, my daughter watches this, and I don't have time to raise her myself. I want your games to do it. So why don't you adjust your games to fit my needs so that I don't have to explain to my daughter where butts come from? You know, like, then just don't do it. I mean, don't get into this shit.
You know what's funny? You look at a company like Rockstar who just says, fuck all y'all, we're going to do what the fuck we want, and they just do what they want. Yeah. And they're awesome. They make bajillions of dollars. They you cannot fucking touch Rockstar. They're huge.
Yeah.
And they got there by being fucking doing what they wanted, being punk rock and saying fuck it, whatever, fuck off. Y'all can fuck off. We're gonna keep making our games the way we want it. Yeah, just fuck off.
You know, legend has it that if you want to become an employee at Rockstar, you have to actually get the words "no fucks given" tattooed directly onto your dick.
Oh, well, what if your like dick vein just makes that word on its own, like in cursive?
Then you own Rockstar.
I got something I want to share.
Brian, I will look at it.
I have a birthmark. It's
Pixar. It didn't happen. Screen share it right now. Yeah. Screen share it.
No, never mind.
Brian is the chosen one, much like Homer was from the Stonecutters and his birthmark.
There you go.
That's great.
Anyway, but yeah, so I wanted to say that, and I'm also, you know, I get really annoyed when people. It's funny because we've already seen proof studies that have shown that video games don't necessarily you know, influence negative behaviors like violence, sexism, etc. But those people also want video games to not just influence their kids, but raise their kids. Yeah. They want their games to raise their kids. That's why I have a daughter, and she's gonna play this game, and I want, like, it's like if that pose is in the game, which by the way is fucking optional, like you don't have to use it, she might see it and say, you know what, I don't think I want to be an astronaut anymore because Tracer's pose shows her flat, tiny ass. And I think I want to do something else now. I'm just going to go and flip burgers and make French fries. My dreams are shattered. I can't do it all anymore because Tracer is showing her flat, little ass.
It's going to become a prostitute. That's what it is.
That's
become a
Just for
prostitute.
research.
You know.
Just for research. Do you have a picture of Widowmaker?
I can bring it up right now. Hold on.
Yeah.
I was also showing off some Senran and Kagura if you really want to get triggered. And these people
research.
They don't give any fucks about censorship, but let's say Widowmaker.
Yeah, while you're looking that up, let me just suggest to this.
Right, you're gonna find out like 1,000 pictures of guns. Search Widowmaker.
Widowmaker ass.
No, there's poses. No, it's so big right now. All right, so this is the Tracer pose again. Let me see. I know that I saw it. Widowmaker.
Did you try back pose?
Oh yeah, there it is.
Okay, let's take a look here.
All right, let's see. I don't know if this is big enough, but yeah.
What, the ass or the picture?
The yes.
Okay.
It's getting better. It's getting better. It's close.
Yeah.
Close.
So I mean, like Widowmaker shows, like it's tight on her body, and it also has a metallic reflection. Nobody cares. Nobody has a problem with that. That's fine. I guess it's because they've decided that she is supposed to be sexy, because look, heels and shit. But it comes down to they pick and choose when it's time to be offended and when it's not. They thought, Tracer's supposed to be kind of spunky and cute and silly. She cannot possibly be that and sexy at the same time. That's fucking impossible.
Because everybody knows women aren't funny, so there's that.
What was that?
And we're still in the same position of women who say that women are, people who say that women are not sexy for men, now saying that if a woman is presented as sexy in any media, it's for men.
What was that, Allison? You were saying
She doesn't have heels? Oh, I think there's one without any pants on.
I don't think so. I can bear. Well, this might be big enough. Let's see.
Oh
Yeah.
no, it's
That's
just
what she
flash code.
They're just white pants.
Just white.
But
All right, fair enough. Well, it seems to be a little bit baffling. Like, do they have a man with the? Oh yeah, they do. If you went back, go back to the Tracer in the white pants.
Okay.
Tracer in white pants. Choose that one. Yeah, I think there's
this guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's got a
Oh my
belly.
God.
Of course they
Ass.
all have that pose.
Oh wait, but his ass is hidden.
Well-
Look. Anita Sarkeesian was right. His ass is hidden. Look.
Oh my God, butt coverings.
Oh God. Oh God.
Yeah.
Show the man ass. No man ass.
No. Why? Like, why would they do that? That's. I mean, come on. I mean, if you're gonna go to the effort, at least take off the fucking towel.
That's what I was talking about, though. See, these things are artist assets. They're called turnarounds. They're supposed to show the character from all angles and all sides. It's like if you go to there's a couple of the artists that actually work on Overwatch that post their work on this this artist site called ArtStation, and some of the guys, some of the people have actually posted. It's an animated preview. You click on the page. And it plays it, but it doesn't play it. It's like, but what it does is you can zoom in on it, you can spin the character around, you can flip it and turn it and do all this kind of stuff and see it from all the different angles, because it's a turnaround. Because the people who are making these games need to see these things so that when they're creating these character models and all this stuff, they know how things are supposed to look. This is all this is. This is such a non-fucking issue on so many levels, but this is just part of the production process. It's not about sexualizing things. It's not about turning people into objects or whatever the fuck other kind of nonsense they want to talk about. This is just a simple matter of creating art and creating a game. That's all the fuck it is. It's fucking ridiculous.
It is, and you know what? I'm honestly like, I don't want to keep like this sort of thing keeps happening, and I feel like it's getting old, but it has to be talked about. I mean, these people are I would call them retards, but I don't want to insult the mentally retarded. So
If they had to have like some sort of butt gate, why didn't they just say, drop the butt covering on the men, and then just be happy with that? Like just equal butt cheeks.
I'm pretty sure that there's male models that have it too, but we just didn't come across any. I don't know all the characters. I'm sure there is. There's a freaking gorilla. We can look at some gorilla ass.
Yeah.
That's, so.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
Actually, speaking of Anita Sarkeesian, just the whole making sure that men are objectified just as equally as women are. She actually responded to that in regards to this whole controversy. Do you want me to read what she said?
Sure, go ahead. Yeah, do it.
She said, so-called equal opportunity objectification will never be the answer because we live in a culture that routinely objectifies women. As a result, women's perceived value as human beings is tied directly to their sexual desirability to men. Men are not perceived this way. No, they're perceived for their utility, Anita.
Bullshit.
Well, but that's not true. They are looked at that way. I mean, hell,
Absolutely.
how many women went to see Magic Mike?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
How many Calvin Klein ads have?
And it wasn't for the plot.
Their fucking crotches or their asses. I mean, get the fuck out of here. If that's not objectification, I don't know what is. It's like, okay, there's a picture of a guy in underwear. You can't see his face. You just see his fucking cut up abs and his fucking dick bulge or his ass bulge. Get the fuck out of here with that.
There's a very simple solution here.
This goes back to that same cycle of illogic that feminists use to, and social justice warriors use to claim oppression. When things happen to women or minorities, it happens because they're women and minorities. If the same things happen to everybody else, it doesn't matter. It doesn't happen because of who they are, and it doesn't prove that when it happens to women and minorities that it doesn't, that it's not because they're women and minorities, even though it's the same things under the same circumstances. And they'll use these things happening as proof of sexism or proof of racism. And when you demonstrate that they are things that happen to everybody, well, it's different when they happen to these people because they live under sexism or racism. So therefore, it's plus power thing. Well, that plus power thing is only only exists if it doesn't happen to everybody else, if it only happens to women or it only happens to minorities. So they can only evidence this stuff, they can only support their claims for this stuff using circular reasoning.
Okay, I just want to point something out. All of this conjecture relies on the principle, based on the idea that women having sexual value to men is somehow bad. Like, there's nothing stopping women from generating other types of value, like money, like creativity, like getting a fucking job. There's nothing stopping them. There's no law that says that women can't develop other forms of value. None. But men give them a sexual value. They find them valuable for sexual reasons. And those reasons are not bad because we are a pair bonding species. So when men find women sexually valuable, they usually in the process create. Okay, I'm getting into the reeds, but it's not a bad thing. It's a very good thing. And all of the elaborateness of our sexual desire is a result of being very social and being a pair bonded species. So it's a good thing. It's pro-social. It's very pro-social.
Well, you have to remember, though, women being expected to generate their own value in other ways is also considered sexism, because that's holding them to the same standards as men, and women are supposed to be exempt from those standards.
It's not even holding them for the same standards. Women can generate value via a plethora of other things. Being creative, getting a job, having money. They can generate all kinds of value that way. And they can also have sexual value. And the solution here is not to complain that men give women sexual value. Because what do you want men not to give women sexual value? First of all, I don't think that's going to happen. And second of all, do you really think that would be a better world for women? But regardless, the real solution here is for women to value men sexually. So that's where the demanding the man ass comes in.
I'm doing my part.
You should never have said, get rid of this woman's ass. You should have just complained about the coverage of the men's asses. That's my opinion. If you had anything to complain about. I mean, more ass, not less.
Hell yeah.
That's my final word.
So yeah, go watch Spartacus. There's a lot of nudity in it. You'll get more than your fucking fill.
But why is that never the solution for Anita? Why
Well,
does she
no.
not say to women, go value men sexually? And then I guarantee there will be men who exist solely because they're valued sexually.
Wait, Allison, are you trying to say that she should practice equality?
Oh.
But
My God.
But my privilege plus power. But my privilege plus power.
But
all these butts in here are gonna traumatize all of the social justice warriors that stalk the stream to have something to complain about.
Good.
Oh yeah.
Fuck them.
What?
But
You know, I should do a butt portfolio of butt shots of myself because I have a large, luscious ass, and it will offend everybody, and I will be very happy.
No,
That's
I'm
what I'm doing.
There we go. We can
The
try
final
that on one of the
analysis.
streams.
The final analysis is that more ass should never offend anyone. Just
Same.
less ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You
Agreed.
should never be asking for less ass. It's like asking for less chocolate or less being awesome. You know, it's wrong. It's not human.
It's what's wrong is using the words ass and chocolate in the same sentence.
Oh. Ooh.
But I poop from there.
Not tonight, you don't.
That's the only legitimate complaint here. This is what I have to say to Anita and all of the other crew or sex-negative individuals. The only legitimate complaint is that there is not enough ass.
Yep.
Scott is the booty warrior, confirmed.
I am. Oh, you know this.
All right.
I love more than big old Bruce's booty.
I like it, and I won't.
Booty's more important than water. Please Johnson, everybody. All right.
I don't know if we've thoroughly sodomized this topic, but if we haven't,
You really took it there, didn't you? You had to go. You saw an opening. You just had to take it.
You know,
You
guys,
had to take it.
after all this, I'm really not sure we packed it in enough. You know what I mean?
Oh, yes.
okay.
Exactly. No, there should be. Yeah, where are all the ass-positive feminists? Where are the feminists who see this and don't say, you know what? That's fine. Tracer's ass is fine, but why the ass coverings? Like, just get rid of it. Let's just have all ass all the time. Well, why even have spandex on them? Let's just
set them free.
Set the asses free.
Free the
Candy
cheek
from Street Fighter.
Turn the other cheek. Okay.
Free the asses.
You're saying all the right
let them run
things,
free.
Brian.
Last story.
I'm cold running ass.
I'm going to get to the last story. All right, last one. It's just one other little one, but okay. On March 26th, director, producer, writer, and actor Paul Feig tweeted, quote, "If you can, help fund this great project from @FemFreak, Feminist Frequency. They're doing amazing work. Follow them and donate," end quote. There are those who seem surprised by the fact that Feig would be in support of well-known con artist and professional victim Anita Sarkeesian, but I would like to propose that he either doesn't know about her past with Tropes vs. Women, and how would he know, considering how the project was covered by the mainstream media that we've all come to trust and respect and adore so much, or he doesn't care. I mean, if a feminist woman like Anita made a few unscrupulous choices and cut a few corners while trying to draw attention to issues like female butt coverings in video games, it's obviously because when you're up against the patriarchy, you can't play by their rules because that's what they want. Feig must know the struggles of women, since he was producing, directing, and writing the all-new, all-female, all-progressive, all-awesome Ghostbusters, which we totally didn't know that we needed. His past project should also have given us a clue as to how much of a rare good man he is, such as The Heat, which starred women, Spy and Bridesmaids, which both starred women. I think it's safe to say that Hollywood on the whole is pretty feminist, so when a director known for making mostly female-centric films comes out shilling a feminist project, don't act shocked. And I include the link to the tweet. So Paul Feig, director of the new Ghostbusters film, basically came out and supported Anita's new Women in History series, and he said that people need to go and donate to it. So, and people were, when I shared this around, there were people who were like, "Oh my God, I did not see this coming from the guy who directed the all-female Ghostbusters movie." Really? So anyway, he is officially one of the good men and a feminist ally.
This is what I want to say. I looked at Anita's fundraiser. The art is sort of subpar. Couldn't she have used like a couple, $100 from that fundraiser and actually gotten some better art? Like, maybe a variety of art would have been nice too.
Well, to be fair, Allison, she's having to pay Seed and Spark, who are a very well-established and very prestigious company, and so she can't just hire somebody with talent. She's got to Seed and Spark. Yeah, that's the people she's working with.
All right. So
those are the people she's working with. So those motherfuckers got to get paid because they're a production company.
But what are they producing?
I think they're producing the animations or something for. I believe is what it is, isn't it?
What's their? Can we look at their portfolio? Like, Brian, do you have a link to their portfolio? Can we look at this?
I can do a quick lookup. I will also add that if Anita has artists working on her project, they probably all have to have the exact same bell hooks feminism in their head that she does. Otherwise they're not going to do it right. So that kind of narrows down the options a little bit, right? It kind of thins the herd, as it were. And I do mean herd. But let's take a look.
Waka.
Yeah.
We got jokes.
All right.
Let's.
I have it up. Let me share screens real quick. I know that Hannah's waiting. I'll try and make this brief and, I can't promise painless, but all right. And do you guys see that? Let me just make this the screen. All right. So, fund movies, watch movies, empower diverse voices. I don't even need to keep reading, but I will anyway. Those 3 words say so much. All right.
Hey, White Knights! You don't empower me.
Yeah.
I do it my own way.
Let's see. Hot crowdfunding campaigns to support. These all look really dumb. Surefire, carb loaded. Oh. What? I don't even know what that's about.
There's Anita's link in the chat, Brian, if you want to bring that one up.
Anita's link?
Yeah, it's in the chat.
I'll go ahead and click it.
Yep. You can see some of this wonderful art that you're going to be funding if you do.
You guys see that? Ordinary women in daring to defy history.
No, yes, his story, because now it's time for her story.
All right, yeah. So here the art. Yeah, the art is kind of subpar. I mean,
well, it's not just it's not bad. It's just doesn't have much variety.
Well, it's not $123,841 good, and it certainly isn't what is she making now? Like almost $400,000 a year.
Wow, what a but okay. Here's the other thing that why is it that we celebrate women doing shit that men do? Like, this is something men have done for generations, but now there's a woman doing it. Let's celebrate
that's
that.
part of what
Allison,
I wanted to talk about.
Yeah,
go ahead.
You know that women are weaker and not as smart as men, right?
Yeah, it's like celebrating dogs talking or walking on their hind legs. It's really fucking patronizing. I don't want to do something that men have done before. I want to do something completely nobody has done before.
I resemble that remark.
Some of the most insulting things that feminists and social justice warriors do is act like it's remarkable that a woman did something that a man did first. That a woman doing it is, in and of itself, a remarkable thing. And it becomes it's actually really degrading to women that they do this, and they do this 2 ways. They do like a guy has an achievement, flying across the ocean, having being the first person to fly a plane across the ocean in a non-stop flight, and then if a woman attempts it, she becomes remarkable because she attempted it, or like Amelia Earhart, who was actually a passenger, not the pilot, and she got lost, and somehow she's a hero, And you do the same thing with like looking at the art thing that we talked about previously with respect to Wikipedia. Are they focusing on women in art history simply because they were there? That, while these women did something that everybody else was doing, they didn't actually come up with anything new in this particular movement, didn't necessarily contribute something unique or special to the movement. They were just involved in it, and they deserve their own Wikipedia pages because they did something that men had done. Or are they focusing on women who actually contributed something new and different to a movement, or started a movement, or personified a movement, or spread awareness of the movement to the public, got people to start taking an interest in it, taught it to people, things like that. If they're focusing on them just because they're women, they're actually perpetuating the idea that women are not as good and women are not as capable, so just being female makes something you do remarkable. It's like giving the kid who comes in last in the race a prize for finishing because nobody thought they would. I ran cross country when I was in high school, and I was terrible at it. I came in last every race, and I came in last sounding like I was dying because of my asthma. So it wasn't something that I was great at, and it wasn't something that I would want people celebrating me having done. I did it because it was hard, and I wasn't going to let it defeat me. I did it because it was a special challenge for me. And it was like, I don't know, having people celebrate that I say, oh, well, it's great that Hannah did this because she was female, would have just been like a huge insult. I would have been angry with people who were like, oh, look at that, the girl's running, or look at that, the girl's fighting against her asthma. What a wonderful thing for a girl to do. I would have been really upset if people made it about my gender. And yeah, I actually wasn't always happy when people made it about my asthma. I was just a part of the team. I wasn't the important part of the team, but I got to be there. And it was a privilege to get to be there and not be cut from the team because I wasn't contributing points in races. I only contributed points in one race out of my entire running career, in cross country anyway. And it blows my mind that women think this is something special. Oh, look, we're celebrating women. We're patronizing women for having done something that the only thing remarkable about it is that it was done by a female. And what makes that remarkable?
Yeah. You know what it kind of reminds me
special? Of? The other thing I wanted to say about this, and this is the thing I had my name in the chat for, was, this guy can support Anita Sarkeesian if he wants to. That's his business. He has as much right to support her as we do to criticize her. But it does tell me everything I needed to know about the Ghostbusters movie that's coming out. Like, I was going to give that the benefit of the doubt. I know it's probably head in the clouds thing to give that the benefit of the doubt. Give it a try. Watch it. See if it's any good. But clearly, it was made by somebody with an attitude of support for somebody like Anita Sarkeesian. That's like the last, straw of ridiculousness. I'm not looking forward to the movie at all now. I can completely dismiss the movie and pretty much anything else he does as creative efforts because clearly he's going to put his politics in everything, and it's going to ruin it.
Skizot.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say that this is like when they trot out the a woman did it kind of thing, or when they're qualifying things with gender or whatever it is. It reminds me a lot of the like if you watch movies sometimes and they're like period pieces, it's like you'll have somebody say something to like a black person like, oh, you're a credit to your race. You're not like every other nigger out there. It's like, or some shit like that. It's like, why does that stuff? It's just like it's kind of it's really kind of backhanded and rude, honestly. It's just like, instead of, oh, you know what? Congratulations on doing this monumental task. It's like, whoa, wow, you're a woman, wow, and you did this. It's pretty fucking. It's kind of demeaning,
Oh yeah. Let me take this thing and put it on the fridge. We're gonna put it right here on the fridge and remind everyone that a woman did it. And we won't ever let you forget the fact that the reason why that we're pointing this out is the fact that it's not because you did something, it's because you're a woman while you were doing it.
Right.
Let's put this on the fridge.
Yep. There you go.
When I see this shit, I'm like, you know what? I don't want to be celebrated for being a woman who did. I don't want to be an has run. I want to find something that nobody fucking did ever in the past and do that. That's what I want to do.
You know, I don't even mind seeing people celebrated for doing good things that other people have done too. You know, like people who make contributions to medicine, people who make contributions to art, people who make contributions to science that are maybe not necessarily the biggest contribution in the world, but they contribute to the things that are huge. You know, they contribute to things that greatly benefit mankind, or they contribute to things that greatly change our awareness or greatly change our understanding of the world or our ability to relate to each other and stuff like that. But for crying out loud, be recognized for the thing, not for the gender. Your gender's not remarkable. It doesn't matter. Isn't that what they're trying to... Like, the same
not,
people who try to claim that we need to be gender blind, that gender isn't supposed to be the first thing that we focus on, and it's not supposed to get in the way of people achieving or get in the way of people doing. All of a sudden, when you achieve and do, they look at that instead of the achievement or the thing that you've done.
Guess who's not going to make this list of videos if Anita ever finishes them? Margaret Thatcher. I don't expect to see her on her list. She's one of those women that's not really a woman that you don't like. So.
Any woman who doesn't buy into the whole.
Yeah.
Women are oppressed throughout history, therefore they're the measure of a society's attainment. Any woman who sees through that bullshit for what it is, no, they're not going to find it on that. They're not going to find themselves onto that list, even though they might be the first person in all of human history to see that bullshit for what it was, for what it is.
I'll bet women whose contributions to history are not in line, in general, are not in line with social justice ideology, and will probably be excluded from that list as well. You know, if they did something and accomplish something for say an initiative, or for and I'm not going to start naming political things, but basically for a manner of thought, or for a group of people that maybe is not as approved by social justice ideologues, you can almost guarantee they will not be on that list.
Oh yeah, I think Hannah, you and me, never gonna be on that list.
No matter what it is you guys accomplish. I got another one that won't make that list. Ayn Rand. She won't make that list either.
Nope.
Nope. She's the wrong kind of woman. So.
But you know what? Changing the world or bringing about change is not about becoming or being put on a list. That's not the point.
No, it's not.
Okay, are we good?
I think we're done. Let me.
Can we usher out the butt?
I'm gonna stop sharing. Yeah, I'm done.
I think we can conclude this episode.
Yeah.
Always more ass, not less. That is a principle by which you should conduct yourselves and live your lives.
Hashtag booty's more important than water 2016.
I always like to preface my shitty ass quotes with a colon. So. Yeah.
Brian, remember that sound from earlier, Brian? Yeah, there it is again.
That was pretty painful.
Explosive shit do you end up with a semicolon?
Yeah!
Oh! Yeah! Hannah's got jokes, y'all. Hannah's got jokes. All right.
What?
I think we gotta end this.
Okay, let's go. Do we have any last words?
Do you mean do we need to bookend this with a?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah. Do you want to do that?
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Wait, can I have a last word real quick?
Sure, go ahead.
Poop shoot.
Do it now.
That's like from one of my favoriteest games ever. Oddworld, like the all the Oddworld games.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they disappeared.
Yep. They've been remastered though.
You can still get them. Yeah, they're remastered now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem is that they're not making anymore, which is...
No.
Oh, actually, I believe. Well, another side thing. I think there's actually. I think there's a new Oddworld game in development
Oh
currently.
yeah, there is. I think
believe
they were
so.
kickstarting one or something.
Yeah, there was
Really?
talk about it recently. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they are. So they're trying to get one going, but like, I don't know, man. Considering all this shit that we're like having to talk about all the time, I almost don't want like any game franchises that I really admire to like kind of come out now, because they would have to go through all these fucking hoops of like, so even if the characters are like little green men with their mouths sewed shut in some made up surreal world, somebody would find a way to get offended. So it needs more I don't know, disabled people or something.
More diversity in
More
Oddworld.
diversity in Oddworld. All right. Well, anyway.
Okay,
I
well-
give you the floor.
Yes, thank you. And give me the mic. And take away your echoes, Doge, or Doge. Alright, so if you're listening to me, you can help me out or help us out by dropping us some information. Specifically what you think of the show. You can send it to topic@badgerpod.com. That's topic@badgerpod.com. I'm going to say that slowly because I tend to have trouble with P's and B's and other letters, most of them. Most of the letters I have trouble with, but regardless. So what we're asking you is what you think we could improve for the show. If you think that there's a show that you're just not really fond of, you might want us to cut it. And also what you think we're doing right. So if you can spend a moment, it really does help us to get that kind of criticism. If you can spend a moment to compose your answer to those questions, what we're doing wrong, what we're doing right, what you want to see more of, that kind of stuff, and you can send the answer to topic@badgerpod.com. That's really helpful, very helpful. So if you're not actually donating or assisting or volunteering, criticize us. Throw some digital tomatoes our way. We appreciate it. We'll make some guacamole from them. Guacamole.
Guacamole.
Yes. Okay. And if you do want to help us out in terms of making the beacon that much brighter, shining into the darkness around us, please send your browsers to www.patreon.com/honeybadgerradio. Every bit helps. And if all of our subscribers just donated $1 a month, holy fuck, I think we'd cause a lot of social justice warriors to totally shit their pants. It doesn't have to be a lot, but all of you, combined as one, could create a great cash golem, and then we would do things with it, like make sure that its ass is not covered.
No, show
Or
off
could we
the
make
golem's
Voltron?
ass.
What? Sorry?
Could we make Voltron?
We could make Voltron,
Yes.
but no
Can I be
ass
the head?
coverings.
Can I be the head?
I quail
No,
about that.
I don't know.
Oh.
I want to be the right leg.
Oh, okay.
Shiltron, the Shiltron. We should make the Shiltron.
Nice.
Okay, please end it, because I think I've just totally overdosed on being
No,
awkward.
it's fine. Yes.